Hello fighters! We've made another video for you that will help you improve your skills in the game. This time we'll be talking about positions on the maps. They are also called setups. We'll tell you what positions you should take when you're playing on the defense side. We'll break down every map and every bomb site. Are you ready? Let's get started then. First of all, let's find out how players choose defensive positions on bomb sites. Maybe they try to go for an unexpected position or more mobile in case they'll need to retreat. This is true to some extent, but the basic of taking position are all about crossfire. Crossfire is a gunfire from different directions passing through the same area. You may have already guessed that it involves teamwork. The players who defend the bomb site try to position themselves in a way that'll let them cover each other. If the enemies start shooting your alley, the other teammate will be able to shoot them in the back thanks to crossfire and hold back the attack on the bomb site. Let's start analyzing the maps in more detail. We are going to show you the best setups for defense. The first map is of course Sandstone. We'll start off with bomb site A. Usually there are two support in both A and B, and the remaining player often rotates between the bomb sites. So let's consider two players a foundation for your setups. The first setup on bomb site A is in the apartments. It lets you and your teammate cover each other at the same time. Here is a scenario that happens quite often. The player on the balcony draws attention to themselves, and the second teammate in the apartments kills the enemy in the back. Setup number 2 is much simpler. Here, the player who is positioned on a lawn covers the teammate who is under the apartments, and the other alley in turn holds the fork exit. The third setup is also focused on the work, but this time two players hold this position and confront the opponents. One of your allies may also be effective near the fork in case they open up at the right moment. Let's transition to the other side of the map. Now we are going to talk about bomb site B. There are two main crossfire setups here. The first player can position themselves either behind the container or near the bomb site B, and the second one can prioritize the position on stairs to B, either at the top or bottom. But it's also possible to hold another position, position 4, for example. By the way, we remind you that the third rotating player should usually hold the junction. This is how you'll cover more space when you encounter the enemies. So we are done with the first map. Now let's talk about another interesting map, Rust. Bomb site A offers many setup options. Two teammates can hold one position if they know that the enemies will be there. It's usually the position behind the container or the hiding spot. The second setup gives more freedom. You can control block and hallway. Or you can hold the position where you can cover each other. One watches the exit from block and the other teammate controls hallway. The third player usually holds either Zig or main on bomb site A. They can control either. The question is where exactly they'll position themselves. We've talked about bomb site A. It's time we moved on the bomb site B. The third player usually rotates only through hallway. This is the only position where they are often useful when it comes to fighting enemies on the bomb site. Let's move on to the next map, Breeze. There is a popular position behind the containers on bomb site A. If you maneuver properly, you can easily kill incoming enemies from there. The second player should position themselves on bomb site. They can control the long or watch the fountain exit. And the third option is 2. Naturally, all of these positions can be interchanged. These will make your actions more unexpected. The third player regularly rotates and stays on CT to find those who exit long. And now let's talk about bomb site B. The most important position on bomb site B is the one behind the bricks. Actually, it's often called a 2. There are also additional positions behind 1 and 3. Because there's a third player, the number of positions with bricks increases. Since you can boost teammates behind 3 and on the ramp, moving on, we get Sakura. When it comes to bomb site B, there are a few options of how you can position yourself there. Here's what frequently happens. One player stays on the bomb site throughout the match, and the other is positioned behind the stones. This player has a bigger variety of positions than the first one. For example, when taking this position, the enemy won't expect you to be there. But in order for that to happen, the player on the bomb site should take care of the enemies who'll come out from the back. Or the player themselves can move from the bomb site to the ramp and hold the position against it. And the player behind the stones will help them control the ramp, but in that case you'll need a third player who will watch the doors. Also, there is an option of watch the doors together with the help of the third player. There are only 2 effective setups on bomb site A. They are meant to control the bomb site and dojo. If the third player rotates to you in time, you can use boosts across the entire bomb site. Also, don't forget about the apartments. It may be risky to control it with the other teammate and disregard all the other positions. But if you have decided to do it anyway, this setup will be the most suitable for it. We showed you the footage featuring Province and bomb site A at the very beginning of the video, but let's take a look at it again. In order to be as effective as possible, we recommend that 3 players position themselves there. But remember that in most cases the enemies will throw Molotov at the container behind the boxes. That's why the third player can position themselves behind the well or on CT. Speaking of B, apart from the bomb site itself, you can use setups to control the following positions: tunnel and zigzag. Tunnel can be controlled when one of the players is positioned against the wall and the other is in cellar or on the bomb site. But sometimes both players position themselves in tunnel and fight the opponents there. The same can be said about zigzag. You can position yourself far away, or you can be on zigzag itself. And now let's take a look at the remaining setup where you fight enemies on the bomb site. The entire team will usually find the enemies there, since it's possible to quickly rotate to that bomb site. It's time to talk about Dune. The bomb sites there are quite small, so there aren't that many setups there. When it comes to bomb site A, you can position yourself where the bomb is planted and fight enemies there. But you need to remember that the enemies are going to throw grenades at these positions, so a more closed setup will be more relevant. There is a spot of bomb site B where you can position yourself together with your ally, but things may go wrong if you take other positions because the opponents may come through the mine. Most setups are focused only on the position long on bomb site B. These have been the main setups of the defense side. You must be curious why there was no zone in the video. We didn't include it not because we are lazy, but because We hope that you've learned something new from this video and that you'll be able to apply the knowledge you've received in the game. We wish you luck and victories!